Well, hello. It's me again, Linda Barnes, and I am in my kitchen a day after Thanksgiving. And guess what? I am still cooking. Why, you may ask? Am I still cooking? Because that is just something that I do. No, seriously. My husband and I have a few meals to deliver on behalf of our church. So I didn't want to deliver like leftovers. So I went ahead and made a fresh batch of dressing. I did that last night. I made a batch of macaroni and cheese. I'm going to just turn the camera around because my macaroni and cheese came out so good. See that? I mean, amazing. And I will share the recipe if anyone wants it. I made sort of like a large sweet potato pie. There's a story behind that, but anyway. And I've got my dressing here. And I made a green bean casserole also. So I made that fresh. There is the turkey and the ham that is going to be left over because I didn't want to bake another turkey or another ham. So that's going to be left over. So anyway, we're going to get moving on making this peach cobbler. And disclosure, this is not my recipe. This is a recipe of a family friend, church member from down south, one of my grandmother's friends. My grandmother is 97, so you already know this recipe is going to be the bomb. So anyway, we are going to get started here. And the recipe calls for 1 large can of sliced peaches. So I have a generic can of sliced peaches. You know, I'm usually about getting, name brand good stuff. But I once heard an old cook say, when it comes to peaches, get the can that says irregular because they're going to be the perfect texture that you need. So when it comes to making a peach cobbler, don't get the name brand peaches because they're going to be firm and they're just not going to be the consistency that you want your peach cobbler. So anyway, got a large can of that. It also calls for top and bottom pie crust right here. This is what you want to get. You don't want to get the ones that's already made and formed. You want to get this. Or hey, if you're just an excellent pie baker and you know how to make your own crust, that's even better, but I'm not going there. So, those are the main ingredients. Otherwise, it's just the spices and the flavor. It calls for vanilla flavor. I like to experiment. I have some almond flavor also. It calls for cinnamon and ginger. And it also calls for just a little bit of self-rising flour, but since I don't do a lot of cooking with self-rising flour, I don't have any. So since it's a thickening agent, I have cornstarch. So that's what we're going to use in place of the self-rising flour. So anyway, but if you got self-rising flour, go ahead and use it. Alrighty, and of course, sugar. So anyway, my oven is already heated from all the baking I've been doing this morning, so we can pass on that. And the next thing it says is to spray your pie pan with Pam or any cooking oil. Rub with margarine if no spray available. So guess what? I do have spray available. So I have spray. And I'm going to use this. And I'll tell you why later. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and spray. Spray. Okay, got that done. Next, it says put in the bottom pie shell. So I'm going to grab one of these pie shells. And I'm going to put it in the bottom. It's like, how do you put a round pie shell in a rectangle pie pan? Or how you fit it? You you just do it. You know, again, you improvise. So I'm going to put this in here like so. Actually, it fits pretty well. It's fitting in there pretty well. So I'm just going to maybe press it against the sides. It's going to stay that way. And then next, it says, spray the pie shell with the cooking oil and place in the oven and bake for about 15 minutes. So again, spray. And then we're going to put in the oven. And we're going to bake. Ouch. Oh, be careful there. Turn my timer on. It says 15. I might do it 10 since my oven is really hot right now. We're going to do 10 minutes. All right. Okay. Next, we're going to bring our peaches to boil with the sugar. So here's my secret. It says 1 can of large peaches. I'm going to use 2 cans. And I already have 1 in there. I'm going to go ahead and put the other can of peaches in there. See that? So that's going in. Sugar calls for 1 cup, meaning I need to put 2 cups in there since I have 2 cans of peaches. And fine, normally you want to double this recipe anyway. My only thing is I didn't double my pie crust because I had a hard time finding pie crust this morning. So, but it'll be okay. So we got my sugar, we got the sugar and the peaches boiling. Okay. And then once it starts boiling, we're going to add our spices and our flavor to that. So, spoon. I'm always looking for a spoon. Always looking for a spoon. Here we go. Okay, we're trying to boil, aren't we? Okay. So, I'm gonna have to probably edit this video and cut out the wait time. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Can't be that difficult. Cut it. And if you like your peaches maybe a little bite size, you can like kind of cut them. Yeah, I would not get a can of peaches that had like the halves because that's just too much work. That's why you want, to get the slices, and if you just get the generic, because they won't be perfect, and that's kind of how you want it. Not perfect for this particular recipe. So, I'm going to let that keep going. Adding that. Cut these up. So, it's not cutting up very well. Trust that knife. Oh yes, shout out to my Johnson family. I have the t-shirt on from our 2019 reunion in Chicago, Illinois, and hopefully we'll be able to have the 2021 reunion, which is scheduled to be, I think, in Memphis or Mississippi, somewhere there, next year, because it's every 2 years. for the Johnson family reunion. And then on my other side, I think that one's every 2 years also. And then on my husband's side, he tries to have it every year, but changed it to every 2 years. Alrighty, so that is going. We're just going to let that come to a boil and get ready to add our spices and vanilla. So, nutmeg. For some reason, I didn't think this is called for nutmeg, but I have it. So for the nutmeg, it calls for a 1/4 teaspoon if you're just using 1 can. So, of course, since I have 2 cans, I'm going to double that to 1/2 teaspoon. And it says a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, I'm going to double that to 1/2 because we know in math, 1/4 plus 1/4 is 1/2. Right? Ground ginger, same thing, 1/4 teaspoon. So we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. And vanilla flavor, it says 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavor. But you know how that is. You can add a little more if you like. So that means I need to use 2 teaspoons, or I can use 1 vanilla and 1 teaspoon of almond. I don't think I've opened this one yet. No, I have not. Open that. I love almond. Okay, so we have a boil going on here. So my little pathetic measuring spoons, I think I do have a 1/2 teaspoon on here. Yes, I have a 1/2 teaspoon, so let's get going. We've got the nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon. We have cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon. We have ginger. Gosh, is that enough? 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm going to turn it down since it's starting to boil. Ooh, so see, did I forget? Oh, the timer hasn't went off yet. Okay. All right. And vanilla, 1 teaspoon. Tell you what, I'm going to do 1.5. And then with the almond, I'm just, I threw the wrong thing. With the almond, I'm just going to do 1/2. I don't want the almond to overpower the vanilla. Okay? So, we have everything we need mixed in here. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so anyway, next, you don't want to miss anything on this recipe. Add spices and flavors. Stir in 2 tablespoons of flour for thickening. Stir until you don't see any little balls. Again, I don't have self-rising flour. Plain flour, maybe that would work. I don't know about this cornstarch. Is cornstarch, a teaspoon of cornstarch equivalent to a teaspoon of flour, or will it make it worse? Or I'm having a dilemma right here. Do I just use my plain flour? 2 tablespoons. That's an awful lot too. You know what? My gut tells me just use regular flour. So that's what I'm going to do. Follow my gut instincts. So that's 1. Maybe I'll just put a little bit. cornstarch. I think I'm making it very difficult for anybody to follow my recipes, aren't I? Sorry. So anyway, we're gonna stir this. Try to get rid of some of the little white flour balls in there. Again, this is more for thickening. Okay. All right. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Well, it's about time to take the crust out. So let's get that out of the oven. Come on out of there. Go on out of there. Like so. And we're going to turn this off. It's really good to read the recipes because you don't want to forget anything. So, it says reserve about 1/2 cup of the hot pie juice for later. Fill the pie shell with the pie filling and put the top pie crust over the pie filling. So, okay. So, we are going to, oh, sorry, grab trusted mitts. And we are going to fill it. Yes. Yes. Excellent. Next, we're going to put the next pie crust top over it. I'm not gonna try to do any adjustments. I'm just gonna let this roll like it rolls. But not bad. All right, sprinkle the top pie shell with sugar and cinnamon. Yummy. Sugar. Pour all this sugar I've been eating this week. Past few days. Not good for me. Then we're going to do some cinnamon. Oops. Cinnamon over that. Over the sugar. Don't get too crazy with it. Alright, come on. There we go. Okay. That's good. Next. Pour the reserved. Oh my gosh. I have already messed up. I did not reserve it. So, guess what I'm going to do? I'm just going to punch some holes. Punch a few holes in the top. Because that's really all you want it to do is you want some of that juice to come to the top. So we're going to just punch holes in the top. There we go. How many of you noticed I did not reserve 1/2 cup of juice when I was just pouring everything in there? I tell you. Anyway, after that, it says bake for about 25 minutes or until the shell is done and brown as you like. So at this point, we're going to put it back in the oven with everything added now. I'm going to go ahead, since it's double, I'm going to set the timer for 30 minutes. And we'll go with that. So anyway, that is my peach cobbler. And somehow I'll post a photo or something later so everyone can see the end results. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye.